Well, it has definitely been a long night so far, but we're doing good. It's only 9:30. Been out here all night after work. Engine bay is ready for primer. Everything is sanded down nice and smooth. Gotta do one final nice wipe down of it, but oh man, we are ready to rock and roll. Gonna throw some primer on here tonight, let her sit overnight and harden nicely, sand her down one more time, and we're gonna see this thing in color this weekend. So I'm just gonna get right back to it, but very excited as usual. Just gotta keep working for it. Now everything gets there eventually, just takes some time. So, time to keep moving forward on her. Oh, check that out. We have ourselves a quarter of a white Subaru. Just primer. Still plan on sanding this down before I paint it tomorrow. Oh man, this is crazy. I love it. I can't wait to see the rest of this car transform into this. Can't wait. But I think it's time to clear out of this garage before the fumes kill me, so I will see you guys tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright, well, I ended up just kind of jumping into this tonight. My phone was dead, so I let it charge so that I could film the whole next portion of this. I sanded the car one more time with 400 and then wet sanded it with 800, and wow, this thing is smooth as can be. It is 100% ready for paint. So it's time to start masking other odds and ends up. So I'm going to mask off the bottom of my frame rail here, because the whole underside and exterior portion of it is all going to be black to match the bed liner, as long as this front portion here. So time to do some masking, so I'm going to set up a time lapse. We're going to jump into this and we are going to see this thing painted tonight, I hope. See what happens, see how far we get. I'm not trying to rush this because I've got a very good product at the moment that I'm happy with, so just going to keep going with it.
1 week later.
Not really fully sure where I left off on this. I think I last showed me putting one of the first layers of paint on this, and it ended up not going well. I think I put it on too thick, or the garage was a little too cold, but either way, it all wrinkled. I've resanded it out, repainted it, had it wrinkle again, resanded it out, I've repainted it again, and I'm finally into a point where I'm doing final wet sanding on it, and I've gotten a good finish on it, but holy crap, has this kicked my butt over the last couple weeks, and not a couple weeks, like week, maybe a week and a half, so yeah, going on a couple weeks, but whatever. Taking a lot longer than I initially planned on it taking, but that's how it goes. We're trying to make this thing look nice, so. Got this side here wet sanded out already. I don't really know how much the camera's gonna pick up, but see a little bit of orange peel in it yet. But still have to do this side here entirely, and you can probably see a lot more through here and the firewall. But lots of sanding to do on it, but either way, it looks good. I have no runs in it, just some orange peel. Take care of that, and yeah, debating where we're gonna go from here. So this is just taking a lot longer than I expected, so I'm like all out of loop in what I had going on here. So keep trucking along, but I still got a lot of sanding to do, so I'll pick back up with you when I've gotten somewhere where I want to film again. Well, a few hours later, I finally have this all wet sanded out. It's all nice and smooth. I would say about 90% of the orange peel is gone. There's still going to be areas you're going to see. It's like I really need to find draw the line on this thing. This is a drift beater. It's not supposed to be perfect. And as much as I want it to be nice and perfect, it's like I need to kind of draw my line of where we keep that, because this car is going to get destroyed. It's going to happen, you know. Moral of the story. So I'm very happy with how this is, though. Like, this has already come out so much better than I ever imagined it turning out. So I couldn't be happier with it. We're going to start trucking along on other things here. I think the next thing I'm going to be doing is probably starting on the back end. So it's currently the storage unit for all the extra parts, so it's time to get all that cleared out of there and start doing some more cutting. So might as well just get right to it. So let's get rid of all the stuff in the back of the trunk here. And we got all the stuff out of the trunk. All the junk is gone. Just some literal junk. Some sound dampening left. I guess I got a bucket of bolts and stuff there I gotta take out, but minor details. The plan is to start cutting. This whole tire well is coming out of here. Whole spare tire well. Because I actually am going to use this in my white coupe, because the spare tire well is, for some reason, really nice. So this is going to get reused in my other car. We're going to get this all cut out of here and start figuring out for fuel cell stuff. So that is the plan. Start trimming away, get rid of this mount for the spare tire and whatnot. So see what we can come up with here and see what happens out of it. So we officially have ourselves a big gaping hole in the trunk now, but it is nice. Everything looks symmetrical now that there's not a uncentered spare tire well in there. So, but it has to be because of the exhaust, but minor details. Anyway, it is now time to start playing around, doing some measurements and seeing what happens. So as usual, wish me luck. Well, since cutting out the rear trunk, I have found out that the fuel cell that I bought, I found out is actually too big. Got it for $100, it was cheap, so didn't really pay much attention to the size of it. Now after cutting this out and making measurements, I kind of realized what I need, or should go with. So, back end's going to be on hold again, so I have put the rest of the front end back together, got the subframe in it, the radiator support in it, and the front of the car is looking very, very nice. So the next step to start moving forward from here until we can get stuff to finish the back end is putting the wiring harness in it. So I got two bins over here of wiring harnesses. One is the original harness from the car, and the other one is an 02 to 03 WRX harness. So the WRX harness is going to be the main chassis harness for the car, and I'm going to merge parts of the original 94 harness into it. So it's time to start laying it out and figuring out what parts are going to be merged together and where. So well, the spaghetti noodle is sorted out on the floor here. So the big clump here is the interior portion of the dash. I've got the left hand all the way wrap around to the right hand, the exterior to the engine bay hookups, and then this here is the whole right side of the car that runs to the rear. So time to start playing around and throwing it into places and seeing where we can make it fit, and seeing how this 02 harness will fit with the GC dash bar. I've never tried to do one in this manner. So my other car that I did this with has a full dash conversion, but this one we're keeping the factory dash, so it's going to be a little more interesting. But matter of getting it laid out in there and then start moving things where they need to be. So at least that's how I'm going to do it, just winging it as usual, but really no different than how I did my first car. So like I said, time to get this thrown in there. made some good progress tonight. The front end of the wiring harness is all set in place, all zip tied in. Only had to completely take it out once and reroute it. I accidentally routed it all through the hole right over here, and it comes down and around through the front hole here and then around everything. I was a little suspicious when I put it through there and realized the headlight plugs were way over here. I'm like, oh, that's weird. My other car, this worked out perfectly, and they didn't have to really modify anything. So that explained that. Got that lining up. De-loomed the harness over here and put my headlight plug in a more comfortable spot. Got the ABS plug also pulled out farther so that it can be just hidden under the fender over here, since this car does not have ABS. And overall, got it ran over to this side and tucked into the firewall. So tomorrow will be time to move on to the dash harness. So gonna be interesting to see how that all works out, because this is the GD or GC dash still. I'm keeping the GC dash and not doing a dash conversion, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it all bolts up and fits between this dash bar and the GC HVAC box. So gonna be interesting to see how that all works out. As usual, I haven't looked into nothing. I'm just, fucking around finding out. That's what I like to do. You learn more that way. And if I get truly stumped on something, I'll look it up. But here we are, and so far, very happy with it. It's actually routed a lot cleaner than my other car is, so very happy so far. And was very happy I was able to keep the wiring down along the top of the radiator support I made, so it is still up out of the way, protected, and still can plug everything in like it's supposed to. So very, very cool. So moving on to that spaghetti noodle.